Everybody. I wanted to give you a little insight into the Java Mail API so that you could send mail from within your Java programs. This is from chapter 29 of my book, Java for Programmers. First, keep in mind Java Mail has to speak multiple protocols with different authentication techniques in order to be able to communicate to a wide variety of different mail transfer agents. Just as a review, if you wanted to start with a host name, the host name would probably be something involving an email server name that you may know about. Perhaps Gmail has one, or maybe you've got one of your own. You'll get the internet address and connect to it via a socket. And typically, if you create an output stream and convert a series of bytes, you can write them to the output stream. And you can get an input stream and get information from the socket. But when you're dealing with some higher level protocol like a mail protocol, it's more convenient to use an API that handles the creation of these sockets and the correspondences that go back and forth, as well as the authentication. Typically, people had been using SMTP for doing these kinds of things. Here's an example where you can use raw sockets to output some simple data. In this case, we're writing out a username, and the username and the host name are going to become embedded in our code. So here we go. We're using the Hello protocol, SMTP protocol on port 25. This is a fairly insecure protocol, and it's commonly used as an example when people are speaking about early phase introductions to email protocols. If you do something like this on a local area network behind a firewall to an email server, it's probably fine. But if you're trying to go across the internet, essentially you have a terribly insecure mechanism for transmission. First of all, things like your username and password can appear in the clear with protocols like this, and in that case they can be intercepted, and then your email server can be hacked. It's very easy to envision how you can use low-level protocols like this. Here's the data output stream. We're going to write the username, the password. We'll read responses. And this is called port 110's POP3 protocol. That's Post Office protocol. And there are secure versions of this which will work in the secure socket layer. And what I'd like to do is show you a piece of code that I was just recently testing using what's called the javax mail API. And so it contains a series of different high-level classes for managing email and the protocols. And in this case, we're going to set things up with a dialog box that's going to get an invisible password. That is, I'll type it in, but it won't see it echoed. So I don't like to embed passwords in my code. That's very poor practice and very insecure. And I'll just set up my from and to address, and my subject will be testing Java Mail API, and I'll just write out that this is a test message from my Java application. Just ignore it. And of course, I will. And so now we'll start by creating a series of different string properties associated with other properties. So the SMTP host, that's a simple mail transfer protocol host. And I'll use a standard one that Gmail provides. I'll use a port number, which is different from port 110 and different again from port 25. This is called port 465. And if you're ever wondering, you know, where do I get these kinds of ports? You can look at port 465, just Google it, and you can see email clients using secure socket layer encryption, still with the SMTP protocol. And so we can proceed. We'll create what's called a secure socket. This is going to be an encrypted socket so things are not transmitted in the clear. And we're going to use an authentication system. And I'm going to turn on debugging so we can see some console activity. I'll create my authenticator with my password and username and pass this into a session. We'll get an instance of the session, and I'm going to set my debugger on. And I'll create my message from the string we saw earlier. And then I'm going to use the from mechanism, which came in from lion@docjava.com or lion.docjava@gmail.com, and then we'll set the from address and the to address, and then we'll proceed to set the subject and text and save the changes, and then we'll use this transport class to send off the message, and we'll call gmail.send, and all of this stuff will be sent. So let's give it a try. Hit run. This will be a little noisy on the console. And there we go. So now we can see the back and forth that's going through with SMTP. We can see the authentication protocol. We can see the hello protocol being used in SMTP. And if we proceed to look at the email client, there it comes. Testing Java Mail API, test message from my Java application. Just ignore it. So that's a way to send email. It's certainly convenient to have a program that runs and can send an email. There are other ways to go about doing it. One of the problems, of course, is that you have to interact with the user in order to get a password. Embedding the password, again, it's very poor practice. There may be a better way to do it. For example, to serialize the password out to the user preferences. Maybe there are other ways you can think of that make this a more satisfactory interface. And that's what I've got for my little demo for you today. Hope you liked it. Thank you. Bye-bye.